content based systems. So basically, what exactly is content-based system is like it generates recommendation based on the user preference and profile. Okay, so whenever you just install any app or application in your Android smartphone or anything, so at the beginning itself, most of the basic details will be asked, like your date of birth, or just getting information about your age, and also with respect to the languages which you prefer, and finally if it is like a music app, the genres what you prefer, or if it is like Netflix or any other apps like that. So usually it will ask the languages what you are well known and what you would like to prefer. So those are the few examples with respect to the recommendation. So hence here your profile and your preference both will be collected from collected by the recommendation system to process and give you recommendations. So they try to match the user items which they would have liked already. Okay, so previously there might be similar users who would have already liked a few of the content items or whatever would be the product which you want to recommend. Okay, so based on those, the level of similarity between items is generally established based on the attributes of the items liked by the users. And unlike most collaborative filtering models, which is leverage of rating between user and other users. Okay, so here they leverage between target user and other users. So contents based on content based models are focused rating provided by the target users themselves. Okay, so it doesn't see for the other users much. So in a sense, like the content based approach leverages the different source of data to good recommendations. Okay, so apologies that I didn't put up any like anything in this slide. So basically content generates recommendation based on user preference and data. So unlike most collaborative filters models which leverage rating between target users and other users. Okay, so content based models focus on the ratings provided by the target user themselves. Okay, so again the simplest form which I would like to elaborate over here based on the content requires the following things. So again it is item level data source and user level data source. So again this is similar to memory based approach in our collaborative filtering systems which we saw in the previous video. So what exactly is item level data source? So you need a strong source of data associated to the attribute for the item. Okay, so maybe we shall make an example. We shall consider an example. So we have things like book price, book number of pages, and published year, etc. So those things. So the more information you know regarding the item, the more beneficial it will be for the system. Okay, so like I mean, when I tell you should know means you are the person who has built the recommending system. So the more information you have, the better, the more beneficial it will be for the recommender. Okay, so that is item data source. So pretty simple, right? So with respect to books, you can have book price, number of pages, published year. And coming to user level data sources, so you need some sort of user feedback based on the items. So again this is the feedback from the user, so you are providing recommendations for. Okay, so you'll be providing a product something, so if at all they end up purchasing it or going ahead with that recommendation, so then you will be just getting you will be sorting out for a looking out for a user feedback. Okay, so this level of feedback it can be either explicit or implicit. Okay, so with respect to explicit or implicit, basically it means like it can be directly from the user with respect to the feedback, or it is like some recommendation would be like ads. Okay, so if you end up opening up those ads, so from explicit, that means the other companies can tell the particular user has visited with respect to the ad. Okay, so he or she has shown interest in the ad. Okay, so that is how you will be collecting your feedbacks. In again considering with respect to an example, so we can check with respect to user ratings on the books. Okay, so books which they read, so user ratings directly explicitly, and also maybe star rating or something like that. So more about those feedbacks. So the more user feedbacks you can track, the more beneficial it is for your recommendation system. Okay, so those are the two simplest forms of content-based recommended systems, and I would like to tell about advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so advantage would be content based system are most advantageous recommendation system recommending items. Okay, so when there is insufficient amount of rating data available. Okay, so when you don't have much rating data available, so content based would be a good approach, and this is because the other items with similar attributes might have been rated by the user. Okay, so hence a model should be able to leverage the rating along with the item attributes to generate recommendations even when there is a lot of data. Okay, so that is the first thing advantage. Without data you can go ahead with respect to the recommendations. And disadvantages, basically there are two disadvantages. So the recommendations provided are obviously obvious based on the items or contents the user has already consumed. Okay, so the user who has like purchased an item or already gone through with respect to maybe music or anything. Okay, so this is like a disadvantage because if the user has never interacted with a particular type of item, the item will be never recommended. Okay, for the user. So again, this is like no interaction with respect to the item, similar to collaborative we saw about the new items being like not recommended. So similarly here, if the user does not recommend with interact with any different kind of item, so that particular item will not be recommended. Okay, so example, you might be fond of reading books, but you might have never read about any sci-fi books. Okay, so then the recommendation also not would the recommender or the recommendation system would never recommend you books based on sci-fi. Rather it will recommend the books with respect to what kind of streams you're reading. Okay, so this is because the model is user specific. Okay, it is not again a similar interest with respect to other users, like how a collaborative based system works. Okay, so this reduces the diversity of recommendation, and this has a negative outcome for the recommendation systems. So this is the first disadvantage, and the second disadvantage is like they are inefficient for providing recommendation to new users. Okay, so basically this is the other perspective which we can look at. So the item might be new in the collaborative, so then it won't be recommended. But for the new users, it is like again providing recommendations is like kind of little ineffective. Maybe I had given an example, like I had at the very beginning of the video, I gave example like few of the apps try to collect data or ask you certain preferences, what you prefer. Okay, so based on that they will give you recommendations. So again, this based on whatever interest you show up, this would be ending up recommendation with respect to generalized one. Okay, it won't be user specific, but content based is always kind of user specific, so that's why it will be ineffective. So when building a model, you require a history of explicit or implicit user level of data for the items. Okay, so again you need explicit or implicit items so from different sources. In generally, it is important to have large data set of ratings available to make a robust prediction without overfitting the models. Okay, so when you're training your data set, so having a large data set is important of ratings, so that you can make a very robust predictions and give appropriate recommendations without overfitting. Okay, so coming to the examples, examples would be Amazon product feed. So you have been recommended products similarly what you have purchased earlier. Okay, and also Spotify music recommendations. So based on what kind of genres you listen, so they will be end up they will be the recommendation system would end up recommending similar choices. Okay, so there are many specific there are many excellent content based systems which are built algorithmically without the dependency of the model based approach. Okay, so for example, like companies like HackerRank and Reddit has been previously known for using these kind of approaches to recommend new posts to the platform new users, okay, or recommending user to old users as well, okay. So the key of building algorithmic approach to content based recommendation lies in defining a set of rules of the business, which can be used to rank the items, okay. So in case of Reddit, their recommendations are bounded by the time of the post. So it's like usually the number of number of days or past, it's like a recent post, and also with respect to the number of likes or dislikes and number of comments. So more interactive means they will try to push with even more interactive, because the topic might just flourish like a fire, okay. It can spread like a fire, okay. So this can be factored into formula and to generate the score for the post. A high score would be always a high yield of recommendation and vice versa, okay. So that is about content based recommendation system. So next we have hybrid kind, okay, so which we'll be seeing in the next video.